Welcome back. We're going to talk about the hero's journey. Since the dawn of time, humans have told stories. Before there were screens, before there were books, before there was even written language, there were stories. Around fires, in caves, carved into stone. And somehow, across every culture, every language, and every era, the same exact story keeps showing up. It's the story of a hero who leaves home, faces trials, changes forever, and returns home transformed. This story structure is called the hero's journey, and it's one of the most powerful storytelling tools ever discovered. You've seen it in every myth, fable, and modern blockbuster. It's the backbone of stories like Star Wars, The Lion King, The Matrix, Harry Potter, The Lord of the Rings, and Rocky. But it's not just for movies and books. It shows up in real life too, in business, in personal growth, and even in the way we experience change in our everyday lives. Here's the key idea. The hero's journey is a framework for transformation. It's not just a narrative device. It's a way to understand how people change. And since stories are all about change, this structure is everywhere. If you've ever felt chills at the climax of a movie, rooted for an underdog, or cried when a character finally overcame their greatest fear, you felt the power of this journey. Joseph Campbell calls it the monomyth, but it was Christopher Vogler who adapted it into something that modern storytellers could actually use. Vogler's version breaks the hero's journey into 12 stages. And these 12 stages are the secret weapon of storytellers, screenwriters, novelists, and copywriters alike. Every single one of these people at the top of their game are using the hero's journey 12-stage structure. Here's a brief overview. Let's just walk through the 12 stages quickly. And we're going to get into all of these in more detail. Number 1, the ordinary world. This is where the hero starts in their normal, everyday life. Number 2, the call to adventure. Something disrupts that ordinary life. We're going to talk about this a little bit more in detail. Extremely important. Number 3, refusal of the call. The hero hesitates or refuses to engage. Number 4, meeting the mentor. The hero meets a mentor who offers guidance or a tool. Number 5, crossing the threshold. The hero leaves the familiar world behind and enters the unknown. Number 6, test, allies, enemies. The hero faces challenges, builds alliances, and encounters enemies. 7, approach to the inmost cave. The hero approaches their most dangerous challenge. 8, the ordeal. The hero faces their greatest fear or darkest moment. 9, seizing the reward. The hero claims a treasure, a victory, or even an insight. 10, the road back. The journey home begins, but new challenges arise. 11, the resurrection. The hero faces one last climactic test where they are reborn. 12, return with the elixir. The hero returns home with the treasure, insight, or wisdom to share. These stages are not arbitrary. They reflect the way humans experience change. The ordinary world is where we all start. The call to adventure is when something disrupts our routine, like a job offer, a new opportunity, a family crisis. That's the call to adventure, the inciting incident. The refusal is the hesitation we feel before we step into something new. It's when we're afraid to deal with tragedy. It's when we're afraid to deal with responsibility, and so on. That's the brilliance of the hero's journey, these 12 stages. That's why it feels so natural. Because it's not just a story structure tool for novelists. It's deeply resonant in our soul, how our psyches experience life. Every great story you know follows this pattern in some way. In The Lion King, for example, Simba begins as a carefree cub in the Pride Lands, right? That's ordinary world. We see Simba in his ordinary world, reality, expectation, there's no gap. Remember, we spoke way earlier on in this course about story gap. There's no gap. Simba's having a great time. There's music, there's dancing, there's animals, everyone's friends. Until Scar lures him into the elephant graveyard. Call to adventure. Something disrupts Simba's everyday life. When Mufasa dies, Simba runs away. It's a refusal of the call. We understand, we relate to Simba running away. We understand what that little lion felt like. That's why Disney's movies were so brilliant. They struck such a chord in our soul. 30, 40, 50 years after these movies are made, we're still watching and loving them. Because when Simba runs away, he refuses his call to adventure. He refuses his call to responsibility. We get it. We feel it. We relate to it. Later, he's guided by Timon, Pumbaa, and Rafiki. These are mentors. Before he finally returns to Pride Rock, crossing the threshold to face Scar, the ordeal, and takes his place as king, Resurrection. It is all there. The Lion King, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Beverly Hills Cop. They all follow a 12-story architecture. The Matrix, same thing. Right, so take Neo. He's living his ordinary, mundane life as a software developer. We see ordinary life. The call to adventure comes when he receives the message, follow the white rabbit. He refuses at first, doubting everything. Then he meets Morpheus, the mentor, and crosses the threshold by taking the red pill. You know the rest. And if you don't, go watch The Matrix. Look, this structure isn't just for fantasy and adventure stories. It's absolutely 1000% relevant for business storytelling and marketing. When you think about your customer, they're not living your story. They're living in their own hero's journey. They're the hero, not you. Your product or service is not the hero. It's the mentor. And so many business writers get that wrong. They think their product and service is the hero. It's not true. Your customer is the hero. Your product and service is the mentor. Your job is to be the guide. Think about Apple's classic Think Different campaign, one of the greatest campaigns of all time. They don't say we're the best technology company. They say you are the creative thinker. You are the one who's going to change the world. We're just here to give you the tools to do it. Brilliant. Apple positions itself as the mentor, the guide who helps you on your exciting, unique journey. Nike does it too. Just do it. That's a call to adventure. It's not about Nike. It's not about their products. It's about you, the person sitting on the couch, unsure if you're ready to push yourself. The voice of doubt creeps in, refusal of the call. But then the commercial shows images of people pushing themselves to their limits, meeting the mentor. The journey is laid out before you. The hero is you. If you understand this, you can see how every piece of copywriting, every marketing campaign, every customer experience fits into this 12-step hero's journey. Learn these stages. Remember them. People buy products not because of the features, but because of the transformation they're looking for. They want to be stronger, smarter, healthier, more successful. The story you tell should align with their personal hero's journey. So how might you begin using this in your own storytelling? You can follow, and you should follow, the same 12 stages for your book, a movie, blog post, marketing email, or speech. But more than that, you can think of your heroes or your characters' journey or your customer's journey in terms of these stages. Here's how it might apply to business, and we're going to get into business writing in a lot more detail in part 2. Number 1, the ordinary world, right? Your customer is stuck in their current state. They're struggling with pain points, frustrations, or inefficiencies. Call to adventure. Something shifts. They become aware of a problem they didn't know they had, or an opportunity they didn't know existed. Refusal of the call. The customers doubt themselves. Maybe I don't need this. Maybe it's too expensive. Maybe it's too hard to change. Meeting the mentor. This is where your brand shows up. Your Yoda, your Rafiki. You offer them tools, advice, guidance. Crossing the threshold. They, the customer, takes an action. They click a call to action. They buy, they sign up, they download a newsletter. They add something to their cart. They leave their old world behind. Tests, allies, and enemies. This is where they encounter roadblocks. Maybe they doubt the product. Maybe they don't believe it's legitimate. Maybe they hit a wall. Approach to the inmost cave. This is the part where doubt creeps in again. They face a major setback. And then you have the ordeal. This is the make it or break it moment. The customer decides if they're going to follow through. Seizing the reward. Stage 10. They see the benefit of the product or service. They have a breakthrough. They have a win. The road back. It's not over. They're still learning how to use the product or maintain the transformation. There's a return window. Resurrection. They achieve mastery. They understand how to use that new pair of AirPods. They finished the book they bought. They onboarded a new tool, a new CRM, return with the elixir. They tell others. They share their success. They leave a review or recommend it to friends. Look, you might think that this is all embellished. It's all a little bit of a hyperbole. We're applying a simple purchase journey for a new CRM software or a new pair of headphones to Joseph Campbell's age-old psychologically stimulating 12-step hero's journey. It's not true. It's not embellishment. If you understand, psychologically speaking, these archetypes, these emotional moments are what every customer travels through, whether it's a 10-year sales cycle or a 5-year sales cycle. And everybody reading your book or your story or your short story or your memoir or your business book, they want to feel, their soul, their conscious awareness needs to feel the rhythm and pacing of these 12 stages for it to feel like, wow. I might not be able to explain why this was so good, but this was good. Here's a challenge. Look at your own story or project. Where are you on the hero's journey right now? Are you in the ordinary world? Are you at the ordeal? Are you at the approach to the inmost cave? If you can identify where you are, you'll know what comes next. The hero's journey isn't a formula. It's not something you just plug in. It's a diagnostic tool. It shows you where your story might be missing something. If your hero never refuses the call, they seem flat. If there's no ordeal, it all feels too easy. If they never return with the elixir, it feels like nothing was gained. This is how you make a story feel full, complete, and unforgettable. In the next modules, we're going to start going into a little bit more detail in each of these 12 stages. In the next one, we're going to talk about the call, the refusal, and the mentor. This is where the journey begins. And understanding these first steps will help you create openings that hook your audience right from the start. See you in a few seconds.
Go behind the scenes at one of New York's fastest growing digital advertising agencies. Learn the tactics that we deploy for our clients every single day. You're gonna be able to take that information, the best practices, the testing frameworks, and apply them today in your own campaigns and see extraordinary results. Join the Adventure Academy and learn digital advertising from the #1 and #3 most influential PPC experts in the world. They don't teach this stuff in advertising school.